Geometry defense has a lot of towers, all varying from good to bad, and in today's video, I will be ranking every single geometry defense tower, excluding event towers though, because I have made a whole separate video about that. So if you're interested in that, go watch that video, links below. But let's continue on to the worst tower in geometry defense. Starting off in last place, it's the medic tower. Its uses are very useless. Its heal is the only thing good for it, but even though that's pretty good, everything else just sucks. Its ability to heal stuns are RNG based, and it's just overall not that useful, especially nowadays where bosses just kill your towers instead of just stunning them. So that's why I put the medic as last place. Up next is the Baker. The Baker isn't that good, but I put it above Medic because it has some uses. It's a mid-game and mid-game only tower. Usually, towers are mid to late game or early to mid-game. Baker is purely mid-game, and that's why it kinda sucks. But the Baker can solo up to wave 24, so it's not that bad, in normal mode by the way. So that's why I put it above the Medic, but Baker overall has some nice range, bad damage, or bad DPS, but overall it's alright. That's why I put it above Medic, but it's clearly outclassed by other towers. Up next is the Shape Gunner, and it's kind of surprising, but for me, Shape Gunner is free. It doesn't cost any shapes or anything, so that's why I put it above the Baker. And Shape Gunner does a pretty solid job at early game. There's not much to Shape Gunner. It's pretty simple, not really good in mid game, but it can do some mid game potential if you want it to, but it's not the best. And Baker is under Shape Gunner because mid game has a lot of competition, especially when there's a lot of mid game towers that are great in late game. So that's why Baker is below Shape Gunner. Pistol tier is basically an evolved Shape Gunner, so there's not much to this segment here. But yeah, the only thing that is better is that Pistol tier at max level has way better DPS, about like 5 more, and it's pretty cost efficient and has some nice combo detection at level 3. So yeah, that's Pistol tier, nothing much to it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, guys. Heavy Gunner is quite the tower, and that's what's next. Heavy Gunner is not that bad, especially compared to the towers before it. Heavy Gunner is just really outclassed. Why go for Heavy Gunner when you can go for Bandit, which is way better than the Heavy Gunner? Even though Heavy Gunner got a few buffs, it's still outclassed, and that's why I placed it at 17th place. Coming up next is Jet Base. Jet Base did receive a heavy nerf, but it's not useless, not at all. It's really good in the early game, but it's not that consistent. But I would still put it above the Heavy Gunner because they both perform really well in the mid game, but in my opinion, the Jet Base is way more cost efficient than the Heavy Gunner, and it is less reliable, but when it is reliable and when you push back the enemies, Jet Base is a really good help to your defense. So that's why I placed it at 16th place. Coming up next is another early game tower, believe it or not, and that's the Swordsman. He is very good in the early game, good for speedrunning, good for all of that, and good for other modes like adventure mode. It is very good early defense, but a con is that it falls off really fast. Yes, it's very cost efficient, like really cost efficient, but it really falls off fast. Its maximum DPS is like 62, and 62 DPS with small range does basically nothing. So if you're looking for mid game defense, don't use the Swordsman, but if you're looking for early game defense, use the Swordsman. Going on to the best, I mean Marine. Marine is the next one in our list of towers, and Marine is above Swordsman because it can make it much farther than the Swordsman. Not only having a maximum range of 19 plus charms, so you can get that probably to 22, but it has a DPS of 80, and with Machinist you can get a DPS of like 110s, and if you have charms, that's like 120 DPS, and that is really good for the value. It's like 500 coins in shop, so yeah, Marine is definitely a tower of old time. Up next is Bandit. Bandit's just a basically evolved Heavy Gunner, and its earlier levels kind of suck. Its max level is decent. Its range is really bad though without charms, but besides that, Bandit is alright. It has okay DPS. Okay, it's basically an okay version of literally every tower you could think of. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I do agree Bandit is a little underrated, but it's certainly not that bad or not that good. Next up, 12th place is Boxer. Boxer is such an odd tower. It's basically Smasher, but a little bit cheaper and has camo detection. Its DPS is not the best, but it can shred mid-game like it's made for, and it does have some late-game potential in clearing out hiddens or ghosts or whatever they're called in this game. I play too much tower defense. But overall, Boxer is a tad bit underrated. I wouldn't say it's the worst tower, but it's definitely outclassed by other melee towers in the game. Next up is surprising, but it's Catalyst. I do think Catalyst is really underrated. It does do pretty good. The only drawback is that Catalyst really relies on the towers around it instead of the actual tower. See, the Catalyst is a tower buffing thingamajig. That I don't know how to describe it, but Catalyst is really based off of what towers are around it. See, if you have a Smasher and Catalyst buffs that, it is insane, but if it buffs something like Machinist, it's not going to do anything. So Machinist is definitely the better support tower, but if Catalyst is your only choice and you have it, it's not a bad choice at all. Going into the top 10s, we're going to start it off with Farm. It makes money. That's pretty much it, I guess. Going into 9th place, it's the Trapper. Trapper is the best safety net in the game, maybe besides Kraken Master, but we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, Trapper is very good, even though it got rebalanced. It's not a nerf, just so you know. If you say Trapper got nerfed, you're an idiot, bro. You're an idiot. But yeah, Trapper is like the best safety net in the game, even if you don't have Kraken Master. Trapper is just really reliable, it's cheap, it's cost efficient. Overall, Trapper is really good, and if you say Trapper is bad, you're a noob at the game, and that's why you keep losing at an adventure. Ray Blaster nowadays is pretty underrated. See, Ray Blaster got a buff in the past few updates, and people think, oh wait, the DPS didn't increase that much, but the fire rate decreased substantially, and that's to fix rate of fire rate bug. And the rate of fire rate bug, it's now fixed, and Ray Blaster is literally busted. For like $20,000, you get 360 DPS with like a range of 19. So Ray Blaster is definitely a true tower of all time. I don't understand why people aren't utilizing Ray Blaster to its fullest potential. See, Ray Blaster, in my opinion, is the best sub DPS in the game right now if you have nothing else. Maybe Guardian's the best sub DPS. But anyways, I think Ray Blaster is a really solid tower, and it definitely deserves 8th place. Wizard kind of fell off in the recent update because of the Guardian release, but Wizard is still a solid tower in my opinion. That's why it's 7th place. Basically, the more players you have, the stronger the Wizard is. It's a high but slow fire rate tower that has splash damage. So basically, Guardian but slow, and also placement limit of 1, but that's per player, so you can have a maximum of 4 Wizards in 1 game. Everyone knows this guy, so I'm going to speedrun him. Explorer is an early game tower, but what makes it good is that it can be an early, mid, and late game tower. It is relevant in every strategy, everything you will play in Geometry Defense. If you don't have Explorer, you're basically losing. Lava Motor, man, Lava Motor is quite the tower in the top 5. Lava Motor has kind of fallen off. Its job of crowd control has kind of gone to the Explorer and especially the Guardian, and its DPS without doubling it, because Lava Motor can hit 2 enemies, so you basically double his DPS because that's what you should get averagely. But yeah, the Lava Motor overall is not the best anymore, but it's definitely still a top 5 tower. Controversial opinion, but the Machinist is above Lava Motor. I won't go in depth why, but in my opinion, Machinist is relevant in literally everything, while Lava Motor is a side option. If you need DPS or something like that, just use the Lava Motor. But Machinist is a necessity literally everywhere. No matter if it's Adventure, Xenos, Neon, you need the Machinist to win. So that's why I put it above Lava Motor. Maybe I'll make an in-depth video about why Lava Motor kind of sucks now. Onto the top 3, we have the Guardian. See, people don't actually own the Guardian, yet they call it bad. But Guardian has literally infinite pierce, so from a balancing standpoint, if we give Guardian insane damage, but infinite pierce as well, it would literally be too busted. So everyone that calls Guardian bad, no, it is not bad. It is called balanced, and that's what you need in a tower defense game. It is kind of controversial, but I will put the Laser Sniper in 2nd place, which leaves 1st place for the winner of this entire thing. And in my opinion, you can have your own opinion, but in my opinion, the best tower in Geometry Defense. But for now, let's think about the Laser Sniper. Ever since Space Event, Laser Sniper has been relevant in literally everything. If you don't have Laser Sniper, you're an idiot, you're a noob. That's kind of harsh. Why am I being so harsh in this video? But yeah, Laser Sniper is the equivalent of meta in this game, so if you don't have Laser Sniper, sucks to suck, man. You need this guy to win Adventure, Xeno, literally everything you can think of. You probably need Laser Sniper. You could win without Laser Sniper, but Laser Sniper makes your life easier, so just use Laser Sniper. And finally, top 1, it's Smasher. Not surprising, literally everyone expected it probably, but Smasher is like the only tower that can remain relevant no matter any nerfs, buffs, anything to the game. Smasher will always remain relevant. It may not be relevant in like events or, you know, literally anything else, but Smasher, it's definitely a tower of all time, especially with charms. Yeah, Smasher shreds with charms. It has like 12 range, and its DPS is like 1,600. It is single target though, and again, the range is kind of small, but with charms, you can make this tower really ridiculously strong. So yeah, that's why Smasher is kind of meta. I mean, it is the meta. And why I put it above Laser Sniper is that it's more accessible to literally everyone. And not Laser Sniper, Smasher's kind of needed as an early game player. And even as a late game player, you'd still need it. So yeah, Smasher is definitely the tower of all time. It is not like definitely maybe the tower of all time. It is the tower of all time. And alright guys, I finished the video. It took like 4 hours. I finished, guys. You guys proud of me after like 4 hours of editing? I finished the video. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this in real life and outro in real life, well, I'm tired and I don't want to make a high effort outro, so this is what you get. Just so you know, I have a Discord server, and also the subscribe button exists. I mean, you don't have to click it, but like, it exists and you should know, so you should click it, you know. Okay, bye.